Hey 10th graders, welcome to your second Modern Classroom video. This is part 2, so you'll be taking some more notes in your packet as we watch this video. Our objective is that you're going to be able to define a modern classroom and how English 10 is going to work this year, same as our last video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can keep track of deadlines and keep track of your work in English this year. So you'll notice on the front of the packet, it gives us a calendar for the month of September, and this is where you can see all of our target deadlines. So our first target deadline is Monday, September 11th. That is coming up, and that's when you can have a goal to be done with lesson number 1. You'll see on Wednesday is the goal to be done with lesson number 2, and Friday of next week is our goal to be done with lesson number 3. So this is super helpful to keep track of your lessons, and you'll also notice that at the end of the month, this is when our unit is going to be done, and so this is our hard deadline for finishing all of the mastery checks and the lessons. You'll also notice in the front of the packet is the objectives calendar. So this is going to list out step by step what you should do for each lesson. I know a lot of my students last year really liked to treat this as a checklist. And so they actually went to the objectives calendar, and once they finished step 1, they would check it off or cross it off. And that was their way of kind of keeping track of what they still needed to do and what they've already accomplished. So you can really use this to help keep you organized and help you stay on pace in English. I now want to talk a little bit about must do, should do, and aspire to do. So each lesson in Modern Classroom is going to have these 3 components to it. Must-dos are parts of the lesson that you have to complete. So you have to do all of the must-dos in each lesson before you can take the mastery check. Should-dos are activities that you should do if you want a grade higher than a C. So should-dos are things that are going to give you a little more practice and extend your learning. And then aspire to do's are really this goal. If you want to go for an A, if you really want that extra practice and work to master the skills even more, you should do all of the aspire to do's. So you'll see next to each lesson in the packet these little designations. Like you'll see that it says must do, should do, or aspire to do, and that's going to help you keep track of those different components in each lesson. So as a reminder, you have to do all the must do's. You should do the should do's, and aspire to do's are really that, like, I want to go for an A and I want to do really well. So how is grading going to work in English 10 this year? The more activities you complete throughout the unit, the higher your grade will be. And that's because you're just going to practice those skills more and more and get even better at them. And so when the time comes for the summative, you will be ready to score really highly. Mastery checks and the unit packet, those are all formative assignments. And so that means it's going to be worth 20% of your grade. The summative assessments are going to be worth 80% of your grade. And this applies to all your classes at Cooper. Summatives are 80 and formatives are 20%. You're only eligible for taking that summative assessment if you show mastery on all of the mastery checks by the hard deadline. And we are going to be using the 50% rule, which means if you do not meet that hard deadline and you're not eligible to take the summative assessment, you are automatically going to receive a 50% on the summative in the gradebook. And that's because if we were to give you 0% on that summative, because it's 80% of your grade, it would be really hard for you to come back and pass the class or improve your grade. And we want to give everyone a little bit of grace and say, you know, if you didn't get it this time, it's not going to tank your grade, and we're going to try really hard to improve next unit. So in terms of grades in English, we are going to be using the IB MYP rubrics. You might have seen these in other classes before because Cooper is an IB school. You're going to be graded on 4 criteria. One of them is analyzing, so that'll be like analyzing different texts that we read. The second one is organizing, so how well can you organize your writing and your thoughts? The third one is producing text, so that'll be like the writing that you do in this class. And criterion D is using language, so how do you use language in your writing? All of these criteria are things that we're going to practice in English class and that we will get better and better at as the year goes on. All right, so let's go over our classroom expectations for English 10. The first and probably the most important expectation for me is that you're going to treat yourself and others with kindness and respect. The second one is that you are going to stay positive in this class. The third is that you will use your time efficiently. The fourth is that if you have a question, you need to ask for help. And the fifth is that if you cause a problem, you need to fix it. So let's look at some examples of what these expectations actually mean in practice. For treating yourself and others with kindness and respect, if someone's having a bad day, it's best to kind of give them space, or maybe if they're your friend, you can check in with them and see how you can support them. And I want you to speak kindly to yourself and to all of your classmates and to me. That is an expectation I have for all of us. Second one is to stay positive. You can speak positively to yourself, say, I can learn anything, I can do this, I'm growing, I'm learning, we're gonna work through it and we're gonna be okay. The third is to use your time efficiently. So set a goal at the beginning of class of like, I am gonna watch the video and take notes, and tomorrow I'm gonna take my mastery check. And you'll be able to use that pacing tracker to help you stay on pace and use your time efficiently. Fourth expectation is that if you have a question, I want you to ask for help. I don't want you to feel stuck and that you don't know how to proceed. So when you're confused, ask the people around you, ask your classmates. If you're still confused, come talk to me. I'm always available to help you one-on-one or with a small group. If you cause a problem, I want you to fix it, right? If you spill your water bottle, it's okay, just clean it up, right? Get paper towels and clean up the mess. I want us all to practice, fixing the problems that we cause. So English 10, we have a clear plan for deadlines, for grades, for how to get help, and what expectations we have so that all of us can be successful.